NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Woo!
Tax season is here, which means you've received or are expecting that tax refund any day now, and you're thinking about what to spend it on. How about a new home? With SaveWithConrad.com, we're helping renters become homeowners every single day, and it's more affordable than you think. You don't need perfect credit. You don't need a huge down payment. In fact, you may not need a down payment at all. At SaveWithConrad.com, we take the stress out of the home buying process. We'll determine your buying power. We'll even help you find a realtor. And unlike the banks, we don't say no. We say not yet, but here's how. So if you're not ready right now, we'll get you on a plan to be ready. Stop throwing your money away, paying someone else's mortgage with your rent, and start the path towards owning your own home today at SaveWithConrad.com.
Right now, Fight Plus, the ultimate digital platform for live sports and entertainment, is offering a free 7-day trial at tryfight.com. Yes, you can access Fight Plus's incredible library full of combat sports, wrestling, and other premium content absolutely free for 7 days by going to tryfight.com. And the best part, you can find them on all major streaming platforms available today. So don't waste another second. Go to tryfight.com. That's TRYFITE.com right now and find out why they are the undisputed champ of live sports and entertainment.
The recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
Hey, this is Kurt Angle, and welcome to the Kurt Angle Show. On the show today, we'll be doing Ask Kurt Anything, where the fans can ask me whatever they want. But first, let me introduce to you my co-host, Paul Bromwell. How you doing today, Paul?
That's a loaded question, Kurt. I am doing great. It's been a hell of a week, and but man, this is the best part of my week without a doubt. You and I, we had so much fun last week talking RBD. Yeah. We were talking Sonny the Bunny. We were talking, I don't know what, how you love snacks and just pounding down sugar. It was a great time. And I see your wife still chasing not only the rabbit around the house, but now she finds a tarantula in your bathtub and she's screaming for you. What's going on? Do you have a petting zoo at your house? What's happening?
Pretty much. What happens is we have a woods behind us. A lot of freaking animals and like bugs and stuff coming to our house. It's like we're like harboring insects and animals. We got a lizard, we got a bunny, we have 2 dogs. We had a fish, it died. But other than that, we have some insects that come into the house quite a bit. A tarantula, we have mice and rats. It's everything.
Listen, that spider was not your average spider. And all of a sudden I hear her scream, Kurt, get in here. I'm like, what a shit show this is. But hey, you know what? It looks like you guys are having a lot of fun, and I'm entertained by it all. So
it's a new house, and it's new beginnings for us.
Nah, man, that's good. Well, listen, this is one of my favorite episodes that we do because we turn it over to the fans. They get to ask you anything, and by anything, I mean anything they can come up with, Kurt. Even the stuff that makes you, squirm around your chair a little bit. So, are you ready to do this, man? Are you ready to jump in? Because we got plenty of material.
I'm not sure, but yeah, let's do it.
All right, man, let's rock and roll. And we're going to start out with Nicholas Meeks. Okay. If you don't remember him by name, he's the guy that won the Chicken Snacks Championship title.
Yeah. The winner of the Chicken Snacks commercial. Yeah,
that's right. He sent in the video, crushed it. I got to meet him in Philadelphia shortly after that. And so he starts us off this week and he says, as a fan of Kurt, for as long as he's been in the WWE, I was hyped to hear that they were going to release a DVD set on his best matches back in 2017. I think it's a near perfect set. And I was wondering if Kurt got to hand pick the matches and if there were any that you wish had made the set. Thank you, Kurt.
You know what? I didn't have the opportunity to pick the matches. The WWE did that for me. And I thought they did a pretty good job. But they skipped a lot of great matches I had, especially my matches with Chris Benoit.
Well, there you go.
Now, 5 of my 10 best matches were with Chris, but obviously they want to keep him under wraps, and it's unfortunate. But the thing is, if they erase Chris Benoit's career, they're erasing a lot of my career, and that's where I get a little bit like unsettled about it. I understand why they did it, but what about the other wrestlers that competed against Chris? You're taking those matches away, and you're just not mentioning the name Chris Benoit. And anytime we have any videos that surface up on WWE television, you're never going to see Chris.
Man, great point. And you and I have talked about it before too. When you talk about your top 10 to 15 Kurt Angle matches, that list changes constantly. So if they were still going to do a DVD set, Kurt, they'd still be making DVDs as much as you change your top 10 to 15.
Thank you. I had a pretty good career. I'm not going to lie to you. And I'm pretty proud of it.
And it wouldn't have any of your Impact stuff. So is it truly your top 10 to 15? It never would be.
No, it wouldn't, because Impact, I had a lot of great matches there too.
So there you go, Nicholas. Most of it was all picked by the WWE. We move on. Rico Williams. He said, loved the RVD Angle Pod on YouTube. Man, Rico, thank you for checking us out. Guys, check us out on YouTube. Kurt and I are having a lot of fun there. He said, who does Kurt think will win in my 5 dream matches? So these are Rico's 5 dream matches, and he wants Kurt to pick a winner. You ready to do this?
Yes.
All right. First dream match, Seth Rollins versus the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Who wins?
Hands down, HBK.
Hands down. Okay. All right. Bray Wyatt versus Mankind.
Hands down, Mankind. You seeing a pattern here?
I do. You're going with your guys, your generation. Here we go. Bret Hart versus AJ Styles.
Oh, man, I love AJ, but Bret Hart. I got to go with Bret Hart. Wow. I got to go with the old guys, the older guys, the older generation. Yes.
Well, the last 2, then I automatically know who you're picking. We're going to do it anyway. Chris Benoit versus Sheamus.
Benoit, of course.
Okay, last one but not least, Kurt Angle versus Gunther.
Angle.
Oh, wow. All right, well, there you go. He went all retro, if you will, Rico. So no surprise there. Steve Barry's up next. We're going to keep it flowing. We have so many questions. I want to get as many as we can. Kurt's headed to Toronto after this podcast, by the way, for a big sign-in, so have fun up there. He said, hey, Kurt, big fan from Ireland. My question is, from your career in WWE or TNA Impact, do you have a favorite opponent? I love your podcast.
Thank you about loving my podcast. That's awesome. Yeah, you know what? That's tough. It's hard to pick just one person. But if I had to, I would pick from WWE, I would say Chris Benoit. And from TNA, oh, man, AJ Styles, but I have to add in Samoa Joe too. There's a tie, and a tie with WWE, Benoit and Shawn Michaels.
Okay,
you pick just one. Yeah.
Listen, those 4 guys and Kurt Angle. I mean, you can't get enough watching those matches with you against them. And as a person who's been able to sit here on the sidelines with you and rewatch your career, how much fun I've enjoyed watching you and Ray. So there's so many guys.
Ray's up there, but I didn't wrestle him as much as I would have liked to. With Benoit and Shawn Michaels, I had solid programs with him. With Ray, it was just like a match here and there, and there was no story behind it, no program.
I know. They were still so good, but there you go. We'll move on to Dan Borello's question. He said, Kurt, were there any opponents you had enjoyed working with simply because you knew you weren't going to get hurt at all that night, meaning they were just so easy to work with?
Well, you know what? I would say the more experienced opponents, like Undertaker, Triple H, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin. These guys, the years of experience. Now, don't get me wrong. Steve could potato me every once in a while. And, I'd potato him back. And we had a little bit of reputation of both of us doing that. But he was extremely safe. And I felt comfortable with the older guys, the more experienced guys. Yeah.
Dude, listen, I'm gonna pause on the questions real quick just for a minute, because for those that don't know or are aware, this is an ad-free shows live event. So we have our ad-free shows listeners all watching us here, and we have a few guys in the chat. They're laughing, enjoying how many animals that you have at your house, Kurt, and Bobby and Travis and Liam and Justin. We're so glad to see you and so many others. Travis says, I own a pub here in the UK. When can we expect to see you guys here? And are you popping in for some food? Listen, if Kurt and I came over there, trust me, we'd be popping in and having some food. At least I would be. If you have chicken breast and broccoli, Kurt would be in.
Unless it's my cheat day.
Cheat day. That would be key. So there you go. Let's go back over to the question. Zol Lopez, speaking of ad-free show members, our buddy Zol, he said 12 Splenda in your coffee. As someone trying to get their dad bod back in shape, how do you keep that sweet tooth in check?
Okay, the whole trick is a lot of Splenda, and not just in coffee. It's in everything, even your meat. Listen, when you eat dinner, you eat chicken and you eat steak, what do you put on it? A1 barbecue sauce. Guess what that has in it? Sugar. So put a little Sweet and Low or Splenda on your meat, and you'll make it sweeter. And it won't taste exactly like barbecue sauce, because barbecue sauce has more tang to it, but it still makes it sweet and it tastes better, believe it or not. So I put Splenda on everything.
You literally just rip the packet open and
put it on my
dump it.
broccoli.
And dump Splenda straight on. You are insane.
Hey,
I've never heard of that.
It helps my sweet tooth craving. It really does.
Oh, well, hey, is there anything low calorie? Well, here comes the plug for chicken snacks. Is there anything low calorie that helps with your sweet tooth? Because I know chicken snacks has some sweet flavors.
Chicken snacks, cinnamon and swirl. That is incredible. I absolutely love that. That is my go-to when I want to cheat a little bit. It's not even a cheat meal because it's high protein, low carbohydrate. But I love the way it tastes. It tastes like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I absolutely love Cinnamon Toast Crunch. On my cheat day, I'll eat like 5 bowls of that. That's not just what I eat, but that's part of it.
And with whole milk and the whole 9 yards, right?
I go with the 2%.
2%. Okay, so on cheat day he at least keeps it at 2%. Travis Medway wants to know what's your opinion on fasting, Kurt?
Fasting, wow. I've never done it. I never want to. I know in my religion I probably should do it at certain points in time, but I'm not much of a faster. I have to have food in me 24/7, and whether it's healthy food or not, I eat 6 times a day, and to fast would be literally impossible.
It's funny, when it comes to religion, everybody who's religious always ignores the parts when they talk about gluttony and overeating. And, everybody forgets that's in the Bible. There you go.
Yep, you're right.
Bobby, he's up next. And I believe he's here with us in the chat, too. He says, Kurt, what was your first car?
Oh, okay. You know what? This is a good one. It was a Suzuki Sidekick. And if I get emotional, I'm sorry, but my dad died in a construction accident. And my family didn't have a lot of money. And my father, there was a lawsuit. My father's company was responsible for it because the gate that he was holding on to broke and he fell backward 15 feet, landed on his head. He cracked his skull and broke both of his shoulders. He was such a badass. He got up and walked to the hospital on his own. And he got there and he fell into a coma. He ended up being brain dead. My mother won a lawsuit, and the only amount they paid her was $50,000 for my dad's death. But my mother decided to split all that up between 6 of her kids. So we all got $8,000 apiece, and my mother didn't take any of it. Wow. God rest her soul. It's incredible. But I used that money to buy my first car, the Suzuki Sidekick.
Man, thank you for sharing that story. But Kurt, when you tell stories like that about your parents and then your mom and stuff, I want you to know that I've seen you and the way that you treat people, and it's very similar to how your mom in that story treated you and the kids, putting you first before others.
Yes, she did. She always did. I loved her for that.
Oh man, that's so good. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Bryant, hey buddy, good to see you here, and the rest of you guys that are chiming in. Chaz is up next, and he says, I'm from Monroe, Louisiana, and I want to know, how did you get involved with being on Duck Dynasty, and did you enjoy being on the show and your time with the Robinsons? On a side note, I got to watch you wrestling twice here, and it was an honor.
Thank you. Thank you for watching me wrestle. Yeah, I love being on Duck Dynasty. It was a popular show back then. It was a lot of fun being on the show. What I did is I taught one of the guys' kids how to wrestle. I mean, and I would tell you this, reality shows aren't reality shows. They're scripted.
Right. They're like pro wrestling.
Take the cat out of the bag, but it's true. They're scripted shows. They come up with an idea and they decide what they're going to do that day. And that day I was going to teach a kid wrestling, and I was going to meet the family, the Robinson family. And what the crazy thing is, when I came in there, they were telling me what to say. So if someone asked me a question, they would say, "Hey, Kurt, answer this and say this." And so it was like, it wasn't improvisation and it wasn't real. It was actually scripted. So, you would improvise every once in a while, but for the most part, it was scripted. And I believe all reality shows are like that.
Well, I'll tell you what makes it easier for you, who's jumping in to do a reality show. You're used to that, and especially the way you can memorize things. So,
yep, it wasn't that hard for me.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Keegan is up next. Your buddy Keegan, and I don't want to Dimitrijevic. I guess that's how you pronounce it.
Oh, Keegan, yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's right. And apologize on the name pronunciation there, Keegan. But he said, when I go to train with Seth Rollins at Black and Brave in May, what advice should I seek from Seth, who is arguably the top guy in the company right now?
Well, seek anything. Yeah. I mean, you never stop learning as a wrestler. Ask him all the questions you want, a bunch of questions. He will have a lot of answers for you. But you have to continue to seek and ask questions. No matter how good you become, even if you're in your career 20 years, you still need advice. And you need to just soak it all in. When you go up there, learn as much as you can, ask as many questions as you can. Seth Rollins is a great teacher, and he's a great wrestler.
Kurt, did you feel like you had guys that would come and, ask you questions throughout your career? And were you that guy that was always, you felt like you were pretty giving, or were you an asshole?
You know what? When I got into TNA, I started giving a lot of advice to wrestlers. They would ask me, and they were curious. When I was in WWE, nobody really asked me for advice, but I didn't have that long of a career in WWE. It was about 6 years. So when I got into Impact Wrestling, that's when my experience started really. I got more experience, and I was able to start being able to give advice to wrestlers, and that's where I did it.
Yeah, where you got to be that mentor. And two, you coming into WWE, you were the rookie and learning and growing. Yes, you coming to TNA, you're like, oh my God, it's the WWE veteran. So it's completely different experience, right? Yes. So it makes a lot of sense. Sean Berkey, who follows us on Twitter and always a big time listener of the show.
Yeah, he's always posting stuff on Twitter. I love it.
Yeah. He said, have you tried getting into the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I've tried many times. It's not that easy. But I did get a who's the executive producer for the Marvel movies? Oh gosh, why can't
Kevin Feige or
Kevin Feige or Kevin Feige?
Yeah, however you pronounce it. Yeah.
I ended up getting his contact information, and I reached out to him and told him that I'd be interested in doing a Marvel movie. And he actually responded to me, but nothing ever came of it.
But I asked for an autographed picture, right?
Yeah, for my nephew-in-law, John Bernthal. He actually gave me his contact information, so I talked to him. But unfortunately, nothing has occurred since then.
Well, never say never, man. There's plenty of opportunity. They just keep deciding to reboot everything. At least I know that's what's happening with DC every time I turn around in that whole universe.
There's something else going on.
Yeah, they're changing things up. New Batman, new this, new that. So there you go. But you never know, Kurt. You have the chops. You're funny. You're entertaining. You're an actor. Is it enough? I don't know. You're ripped up. You're rock solid. We've seen the chicken snacks and what they can do. So we'll see what happens. All right. You could be Captain America's, you could play an uncle role for Captain America, maybe a father figure. I can see.
That's not a bad idea considering I'm getting up in age. I'm almost 55. So.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to be the 24-year-old Captain America, but you could be like the uncle or I don't know. We'll figure out something.
uncle or father. Yeah.
I'm sure Giovanna's making pitches left and right if I know her. So,
Oh, she's crazy. Yes.
she's a machine. I know. Kent Graham is up next. He said, I read that you were supposed to be in the 10th season of the UFC's Ultimate Fighter. What's the real story behind you not being on it?
Okay. The real story, or you want the fake story?
I want the real
real.
stuff. We want the real shit here.
Okay. Dana White, I approached the UFC. This is the second time I approached him. I approached him in 2006 when I left WWE, and I signed with TNA, and I met with Dana White in 2006, and he said, hey, I'll sign you right now, but you have to stop wrestling. I said, Dana, I just signed with a new company, Impact Wrestling, and I don't want to let them down. I just signed a contract like a week ago. He said, well, when you're done with that, you can come back to me. So in 2010, when things weren't going so great for me in TNA and that whole situation with my ex-wife occurred, I reached out to Dana, and he offered me a contract, a 6-fight deal. He was really cool to me. I mean, this guy treated me like gold. I absolutely love the guy. I have a lot of respect for him. And what he did was he decided to give me a 6-fight deal, and he wanted me to be on Real Fighter with Kimbo Slice.
Yes, that's
and
right.
I said, Dana, nobody gets paid on that show to be on it. I mean, you're beating the shit out of each other, and no one's getting paid. He said, well, I'll give you $500,000 to be on the show. I was like, oh, okay. That's not a bad idea. So I was going to do it. I was getting ready to do this, and I thought, you know what? I don't want to leave Dixie Carter yet. And I don't want to let her down because she treated me so well throughout my career. And I also thought, you know what? My body is not as in check as it used to be.
Yeah.
In other words, I was pretty banged up. I broke my neck 5 times already. I had numbness in my arms. I have weakness in my upper body. I can only bench 150 pounds at this particular time. And I knew that I wasn't physically ready to be in the UFC. So I talked myself out of it. I figured all I'm going to do is embarrass myself because I won't be 100% ready. And so I decided to back out of it, and I stuck with TNA. That's the story.
There it is right here on the Kurt Angle Show, as told by Kurt Angle. Now, listen, I have a question for you because you're talking about your body, and we probably do this once a month, but I think it's good. This is the place we want to hear it from your lips, your mouth. You had some back surgery when you came back from vacation, right? How you feeling? How's that going? And I'm interested, what does it look like for you now in the gym? What are some of those workouts? What are you able to do? I mean, back then you couldn't push, 150 pounds up. So what's it look like now for Kurt?
I hope my doctor's not listening to this.
Oh, shit, Angle.
The day I got out of the hospital after my surgery, I went and worked out.
Here we go.
I was supposed to take 6 weeks off. I never stopped working out. I worked out the day of my surgery, the day after that.
You're nuts, dude.
But what I did is I did a lot of stuff sitting. So I wouldn't affect my back because they told me I couldn't carry more than 5 pounds. Now I was lifting a lot more than 5 pounds, and I think that I probably didn't listen to them at that aspect, but I wasn't literally carrying it while I was walking. I was sitting while I was lifting. So I did leg presses sitting down. I did my bench press sitting down. I did my military press sitting down. Everything I did was sitting down. So I took care of my back, but I didn't want to miss my workouts. And am I stronger than I was back when I was going to go with UFC? Not much.
Okay.
I mean, I do this bench press machine, and I only do 60 pounds on each side of it. They're independent barbells.
I got you. It's an independent system where you're doing one arm at a time.
Yeah, and I only do 60 pounds on each side. So me, literally, I could probably bench press 180 pounds right now. It's not a lot. Mm-hmm. My upper body is still weak, and it probably always will be unless I get this fusion surgery in my neck. But I don't know if I've waited too long that my strength in my neck will never my strength in my upper body will never come back. I mean, I lost 3 inches in both of my arms.
I know. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I've been suffering dearly from this for my career.
So, okay, you totally didn't obey your doctor at all with the recovery. How are you feeling though? Good. Not too bad. I still have pain in my lower back, but I don't have pain running down my legs anymore. But that's good.
They kicked that. But the pain in my back is still there, and it's unfortunate, but I can deal with this. I couldn't deal with the pain going down my legs. So I'm happy with the surgery.
And these are the questions that I have to ask as we build to WrestleMania 40 next year in Philadelphia for your big, coming out of retirement match. So we just have to make sure. I'm making it up, guys.
I'll be ready by then.
as the wrestling rumors continue. Now, and I'm kidding about that, but yeah, I mean, ultimately, we care about your health and your comfortability of living. Right at this point of your life, you got them kids, all over you. You're like a set of human monkey bars, and so you want to make sure that.
And the crazy thing is, I haven't been able to really play with them the way I want to because I had my knees replaced. I had my back surgery. And before that, it was all bothering me. I was really messed up, and my neck is messed up. Next is my neck surgery. I'm probably going to have fusion next year, and hopefully that'll help my body. And eventually I'll be able to play with my kids. My knees have come out of I've been able to come out of that pretty good. So once my back heals, I'll start being able to play with my kids, throwing them around the pool, carrying them on my back, doing that kind of stuff. I want to be like a real father to my kids,
Well, I'm
not
sure.
a fake father.
You're not a fake father. You're a real dude. But physically, I get what you're saying. But hey, I will tell you, from when I first met you to now, your walking is 160 degrees better.
Oh, I know. I look like an old man. My legs were bent.
You were dragging them, kinda.
I was arthritic, and I look like an old man walking. But
so
you know what? The doctor was able to straighten my legs out, which he said it's not definite. It'll happen, but if you do the things I tell you for rehab, your legs will go straight. And they did. Thank God.
That's good. That's good. All right. We got more guys joining in the chat. I see you, Josh Henney and Bobby and Bryant. We'll keep going with the questions here. Richie Ray, the real deal heel. Yes, that's what he calls himself. He's the real deal heel, Kurt. Sounds kind of scary. But he said, do you still have Eddie Guerrero's boot from WrestleMania 20?
You know what? I should have kept that son of a bitch. When I took the boot off, I threw it back at him when he was out of the ring. I should have kept that because you know how much money it'd be worth today?
I know.
Oh, crap.
I mean, you could just put it on your autograph table, sit it beside you, and people would pose with you for a picture. They'd want to slip it on and have you, rip it off.
I could have sold that bastard for $300,000.
I mean, you could have done some things with it, but no, he doesn't have the boot, is what he's trying to say. So there you go. Lethal Moose is up next. He says, I got a 2-part question, Kurt. If you had beaten Brock at WrestleMania 19 and gone on the lengthy title run that was originally planned, would you A, have dropped the title to Eddie Guerrero? Or do you think it would have been more impactful if Eddie had beaten you instead of Brock?
Oh, that's hard to say. I memean, I don't know if you could get any more impactful of beating Brock.
Yeah.
He was the most dominating wrestler of our era. And not that I was, a piece of crap, but, I do believe that if I was supposed to retain the title at WrestleMania 19 against Brock. And I was supposed to go on a nice long title run. So Eddie Guerrero would have probably been the one that taken the title from me. Yeah. And I wouldn't have minded at all because Eddie was a rising star at this particular time. His character was getting more over than it ever did. And when he beat Brock, the fans went absolutely nuts. It was a great night for pro wrestling.
Absolutely was. And history played itself out the way that it was supposed to, but still, it would have been fun to see that program with you and Eddie in that title chase for sure. Hey guys, we want to jump in right now and tell you about the newest partner to the Kurt Angle Show, Factor. They are America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. Yes, it's true. It's damn true. And our Olympic hero will vouch for them because the last few months, Kurt and I have been getting these meals delivered directly to our doors. We're saving time, we're eating well, and tackling everything on our to-do list. Listen, the weather's great. Folks want to get in shape, want to feel good, have that summer body. Factor can help you with that. They offer delicious flavor-packed options on the menu each and every week for all the different lifestyles, whether you're keto-friendly, calorie-smart, vegan and veggie, or protein plus. They've been prepared by chefs, approved by dietitians, and when I say chefs, 34-plus chef-prepared meals. Plus, you can round out your meal and replenish your snack supply with an assortment of 45 or more add-ons, including breakfast bites, egg bites, smoothies, and more. So listen, forget about the deliveries, forget about the fast food, and get healthy and get Factor. Not only are they cheaper than takeout, but they're faster than restaurant delivery in just 2 minutes. So listen, head over to factormeals.com/angle50 and use code angle50 to get 50% off your first box. You can't beat it. That's code angle50. So go to factormeals.com/angle50 and take advantage of this 50% off your first box opportunity right now. It's highly recommended by me and highly recommended by your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle. Keith Langley's up next. Does Kurt Angle have a favorite superhero?
Of course, Captain America.
Well, there you go. That makes
blue,
a lot of
baby.
sense.
Yeah, he's my favorite. Those are my favorite Marvel movies. I do enjoy some of the other ones. What the heck? Thanos
Thanos. That's all Marvel. Yeah, the whole Marvel.
All the Marvel movies. My wife and I watch it religiously. We actually watch them in order.
Okay,
there's an order that you go by. And,
I know.
And you have to, at the end of the movie, they cut to the credits, and then afterward they show something that's coming up in the future. Yeah, and it's something related to the movie you just watched, and it's pretty cool. So Marvel has a good thing going on right now.
Listen, everybody listen to this show, and I'm just talking, out my ass. But I would assume most everybody listening to the show knows exactly what you're talking about. Probably a ton of Marvel fans, probably right here in this chat listening. So they have created a model where now people aren't sure when they're supposed to turn off the movie. That's where we're at now. Back in the 80s, I knew when the credits hit, bam, we're done. Now you're not sure if you should turn it off.
Now when we're in the movie theater, she's like, wait, we have to see this.
And it's not just one. Then you wait for one more at the end.
Right.
God, I need to go to the bathroom. All right. Richie's up next. He said, was there a creative idea pitched to you that you thought was silly or it wouldn't work, but when it was executed, it turned out amazing?
No. But I did a program that I was not comfortable with. And I think I told you this before, Paul. I had so much respect for Booker T and Sharmell. And I had to do this program where I was stalking Sharmell. And I told her that I wanted to have bestiality sex with her. Okay. This was Vince McMahon at his finest. Okay. I don't know what he was trying to do with this, but man, I was so uncomfortable doing that because I respected Sharmell and Booker T so much. And for me to be like this pervert, like that Sharmell turned me on.
It seems so natural. Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. I mean,
you just look, I saw you just peek to see it, is Giovanna in here?
My wife listening. Yeah, but you know what? I hated that. I absolutely hated it.
Tell me what was Booker T and Sharmell saying behind the scenes while all this creative's happening?
Nothing.
They're cool with it.
Knew that Vince wanted to do this and there was no stopping it. And so they just went along with it. And I was like, this is crazy, man. I mean, this is your wife and
bestiality sex.
Yeah. Vince showed me how to say it and everything. Like, he was really into it. So, I did this.
You put the beast in bestiality. Oh, man.
Oh, he's a piece of work, man.
He is something else.
I love him.
Hey, by the way, we have guys right now proving me wrong immediately. Brian Haremza, I've never seen a Marvel movie. Bobby, I've never seen one either. They're too busy watching Nitro reruns and Monday Night Raw. They haven't seen Marvel stuff, dude. So I am speaking out of turn.
Marvel is like the most highly demanded movies of today, man.
That's okay. That's all right. We love our fans and you guys love what you love. So there you go.
Wrestling.
That's right. Okay, let's see where we're at. CJ Whitmore is up next. Who would be your dream tag team partner, not named Paulie B, and who would be your dream opponents, and who would they be in a tag team match?
You know what? That dream already came true. When I tagged with Benoit and I wrestled the Guerreros and Edge and Rey Mysterio, we had some of the greatest tag team matches of all time. I absolutely love working with those guys. And you know what? It was cool because none of us was in the world title run. So we weren't in those storylines for the world title. So they kind of put us all together and had a different program with the tag team titles. And that kept me busy while I was out of the picture for the world title hunt. So I absolutely love tagging with Benoit and wrestling those guys.
There you go. By the way, Josh Henney, who is a big fan of yours, big fan of ad-free shows, he said, hey, any words of wisdom for my son, Caleb? He has his last wrestling tournament tomorrow. Anything that you did pre-match to get pumped up?
Yeah, listen to Vision Quest, Lunatic Fringe. That'll get you fired up. It's a Vision Quest is an amateur wrestling movie, and the album for it.
Yeah, the score.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
They have some great music on there. That's what I used to do to pump me up. But you know what? If this is his last tournament, if he's doing well, he's probably going to do well. If he's not doing well up until now, he's probably not going to do that.
Probably going to suck.
You
suck.
Listen to the music and do the best you can.
He's going to do great, man. Josh has been posting a lot
Good
about
luck to
him.
you.
Yeah. Good luck. Have a lot of fun. And tell Caleb that Kurt and I are supporting him tomorrow. If that doesn't pump him up, I don't know what will. So there you go. J.M. Wagner's up next. Back in 2005, Kurt appeared on MTV's Made, helping a high school kid get on his wrestling team. Well, that's perfect transition here. What does Kurt remember about filming the episode?
It was pretty cool. I mean, this kid didn't know a lot of wrestling, and I was teaching him wrestling moves, and it was different. I remember that MTV, I don't believe it was when I was in WWE. I think I was in TNA at the time. So MTV called TNA and said they wanted Kurt Angle to be on the show, and I was happy to do it. Doing these things gave TNA a little bit more publicity. You know, spread out beyond wrestling, and you go out and do these other shows. It gives your company more traction. So I didn't mind doing it, and I actually enjoyed myself doing that show.
All right, there you go. Let's continue. Keep it going here. James Redfern says, when you coming back to the UK next? We miss you over here.
I believe I'm coming back in the fall. I believe it's in September, October. I haven't been there in a while, so it'll be a long time coming, but I'm looking forward to it. I absolutely love the fans over there. They're awesome. They've always treated me well, and I respect the shit out of them.
That's awesome, man. And they are big fans of pro wrestling and big fans of the Kurt Angle show. So there you go, James. He's coming back in the fall, and more to come. And we'll tell you right here on the show as we find out more about the appearance, Kurt. How does that sound once you get dates locked in and where it's at? Terry Lynn is up next. He said, if you were in the situation with Jeff Hardy at Victory Road, as Sting was, how would you have handled that? Did you ever feel not capable of competing in a match, not an injury related, but still did anyway?
No, I never felt like I was incapable of wrestling a match. But what Sting did to Jeff Hardy, I would have done the exact same thing. I would have ended the match as quickly as possible. That match had to go. You needed to move forward, just forget about it. And it was the best thing was Sting just hitting his finisher and pinning Jeff Hardy. That was the best thing he could have done.
Yeah, veteran move from Sting there. Terry is back with another question. He said, if you started your career all over again after winning the Olympic gold medal, and if UFC was as mainstream as it is today, so here's the caveats, would that have been your next move? And did your visit to the original ECW make you question if professional wrestling was really for you?
Oh, it definitely made me question if professional wrestling was for me. I mean, this crucifixion thing blew my mind.
Right.
And it definitely turned me away from it for a while. But then I started watching it and understanding it, that it was entertainment. And, you know, some of the things they do are going to be a little crazy and a little chancy. But, yeah, listen, if the UFC would have been popular, now don't get me wrong, they had a good run in the 90s, but they weren't paying their fighters a lot of money.
Right.
It was a low amount of money, to be honest with you. But if they would have came in, if they would have started being mainstream in 1998, I definitely would have wanted the UFC route, because the reason why I didn't go back to the UFC is because in 2000 I had a stellar rookie year, and I was doing so well in pro wrestling, and then UFC became mainstream, and I was looking at UFC and saying, I want to go over here, but I'm doing so well over here, I don't know what to do. And I thought, you know what? I'm having so much success as a pro wrestler, I'm going to continue on. So if the UFC would have been mainstream a couple of years prior, I probably would have gone the UFC route. And I don't know if that would have been a good thing or not.
It's all hindsight's 2020. Who knows, man, right? You know?
I'm not going to welch about it now.
Hey, listen, and that's the sport too. You get knocked out once or twice, and then it's like, shit, I got to start over, and your credibility takes a hit, even if you come over to pro wrestling. You came over to pro wrestling while your star was nice and shiny, and you were an Olympic gold medalist, so you were still, you know, this champion, this hero, and you made millions.
A safe call.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, Bryant Haremza, not a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, Kurt. He's in the chat. And he's like, Kurt, can you send Paul a tiny cowboy hat to wear on the show, or at least a Kurt Angle hat to wear for the show? No, Bryant, we are from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I am supporting
Steelers all the way.
There you go, buddy. I love it. All right, let's keep it moving. James Chad Simpson says, hey, Kurt and Paul. Kurt, as a former high school football player and one of the biggest stars in the WWF in 2001, were you ever asked to help promote or make appearances for the original XFL like The Rock and Undertaker did? Also, what do you think of XFL version 1?
XFL, I thought it was a great idea that Vince McMahon started this. I wasn't so crazy about the storylines, cheerleaders being in the men's locker room at halftime and stuff like that. It was ridiculous. I mean, he was turning this into a pro wrestling,
a circus
bonanza. So, but yeah, I did go there a couple of times. I went to a couple of games, but I felt like the XFL version 1 was a great concept, a great idea. I just think that it became too much entertainment and not enough sport, that the football fans weren't taking it as seriously as they should have. The wrestling fans were probably enjoying it, but the football fans, I don't think because they were doing like 12 ratings at the beginning.
Yeah.
It slowly started going down, 10, then 8, then 6, then 5, and then 3. And by their last game, they were doing like a 1.2 rating. So that's probably why they didn't continue on. That's probably why NBC canceled it. But I thought Vince McMahon taking a chance with that was a great idea. And I think The Rock doing it now, I'm wishing him the best of luck. I hope he does really well with it.
Yeah, you're right, man. True football fans started sniffing out, where are we headed here with all this theatrical stuff and the hokey bullshit. So I think that kind of didn't help. And Liam Evans, he has a great follow-up question. He says, do you think the UFC and WWE, right now they're owned by Endeavor, this big company, do you think now that they're under the same banner that we could potentially see some crossover?
You know what? I do believe you're going to see some crossover, but I know Dana White is very hell-bent on not allowing his fighters to go into pro wrestling. So I think that's going to be one obstacle they're going to have to overcome. But I do believe that the fighters who are going to retire are going to go over to pro wrestling, to the WWE. So I know this. They're going to cross-promote.
Yeah, promote each other.
Promote UFC. UFC is going to promote WWE. But I don't see fighters crossing over to wrestling while they're in their prime. I do believe when they're done fighting, I do believe they're going to go to pro wrestling, just like Ronda Rousey did, just like Brock Lesnar did. So I know that Dana White is hell-bent on not allowing his fighters to do pro wrestling. And I don't think that's going to change.
Yeah, I think that you'll see a little bit more of a support for both companies. And like you said, the cross-promotion, absolutely. Listen, they're all under one umbrella. They have a goal. Revenue, profit, make money.
Make as much money as possible with both shows.
There you go. Eric Campanella's up next. He said, Kurt, is there any other weight class you would have wanted to qualify for in the Olympics, or do you feel you were already in the best class for your size?
Well, I wasn't the size that I was supposed to be. I wrestled at 220 pounds. I weighed 200 pounds. The next weight class below me was 198. I only had to lose 2 pounds to make that weight class. Now, should I have done that? Yes. But did I have to? No, because I still won the Olympic gold medal at 220 pounds. So I didn't have to lose those 2 pounds. So I would say that, yes, it would have been kind of cool to go to 198 and win there. But you know what? I didn't have to. I was cool where I was.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, Tony Schiavone. Need to call a timeout real quick. Wanted to tell your listeners what I've been telling What Happened When listeners for a while now, about all the cool things happening over on adfreeshows.com.
Jim Johnston created the soundtrack for generations of WWE fans with some of the most iconic themes in history. Jim sits down with Conrad to take us behind some of those classic themes, including The Ultimate Warrior.
And then I recorded that. And then just over that, you're just doing... it's so simple, but that's what felt like him.
Plus, an all-new edition of The Book is here, as David Crockett takes us page by page, gate by gate, through the JCP booking logs of April 1985.
On Sunday, April 14th, you start the day with a 2 p.m. show in Richmond, Virginia, 43 grand. An hour later, Asheville, North Carolina kicks off, and it's another 63-63. But then that night, you guys all cruise to Atlanta, $31,000 at the gate. Talk about a banner day for Jim Crockett Promotions. This is hard to beat, man.
That's just a small taste of what we got waiting for you. With 4 levels to choose from, see for yourself why ad-free shows is the best value in wrestling today. Sign up now at adfreeshows.com.
All right, Patrick J's up next. During Kurt's singing of Sexy Boy, does Kurt remember being caught on camera, maybe being a little distracted by Sherry's assets?
Well, it's Sherry Martel. I think anybody is going to get disgruntled.
Or distracted, yeah.
Yeah, distracted anyway.
Yeah.
So if I did that, you know what? It happened. Where's my wife? Okay.
Yeah.
No, we're good.
There's a lot of "Where's my wife" in this episode. I love it. These are the shows I'm here for.
I didn't know I checked out Sherry's boobs, but I guess
he's not saying you did. He was just saying, do you remember being caught on camera doing it? I don't know if you did or didn't, but now we're all gonna have to go back and check and see if you did.
I mean, did I indirectly check at certain points? Sure. I think any guy would.
Right. Okay. There you go. It's just, Kurt's an Olympic hero.
It's Sherry Martel.
Olympic hero doesn't mean perfect hero. Okay. It means Olympic. Dylan Nielsen is up next. Hey, Kurt, hope your knees are healing well. Hey, well, you know what? We just got an update on him. If you were to ever return as an active wrestler, oh, I love it. What would be your ideal return angle? Face or heel? I think a heel pairing with Chad Gable and yourself would be gold.
Oh, I would love to be a heel with Chad Gable. He's so entertaining. The two of us together, be unstoppable. But I'm sorry to say, I don't know if I ever came back to wrestle, I don't know if I'd be a heel. It would be really difficult for me because of the career I've had and the age I am. When you get older, people start, having sympathy for you, and they want to cheer you on. They want you to win. And it's really hard to turn heel later on in your career. You'll see, like Undertaker, look at him. He has so much respect. He's been in the company for 30 years. And, all his accomplishments, how hard it would be for Undertaker to be a heel right now? It's almost impossible. And I think I'm comparable to that.
All right, let's keep it moving. Terry Lynn is back. WrestleMania 2000, Kurt. What do you remember about this match? Was the finish always what happened? And did this match help your journey working with two guys who had been all over the world at this point?
Well, having the experience of working with those two guys, Jericho and Benoit, was incredible. I learned so much from them. I had programs with them at the beginning of my career, both of them, and WrestleMania was part of it. I didn't lose the world title. I wasn't the one that lost. The Intercontinental title and the European title, they actually beat each other. So I never lost, but I lost both titles that night. And I'll always claim that I never lost, and I was still undefeated at that point in time. And it was great because, the WWE always came up with certain things where even though I would lose, I was still undefeated. Like
sure.
When Cass choked me out, it was illegal, so I'm still undefeated. And when I got beat at WrestleMania, I didn't lose the titles. They lost to each other. So, it was kind of cool to have that thing going on. That's awesome. Why I was such a great heel. I was getting on the fans' nerves.
Yeah. Hey, Brian Haremza has a question. He said, who was Kurt's, he's a wrestling coach, by the way, in high school. Who was Kurt's toughest opponent during his amateur wrestling days? Kurt, who was your toughest opponent in amateur wrestling?
Man, that's tough. I mean, I got to put them up there. Mark Kerr and Mark Coleman, both MMA fighters, had a lot of success. Those guys gave me a run for the money. There was a couple years where I couldn't beat those guys, and it was getting a little frustrating for me, where I actually quit in 1994, and I quit for about 5 months. I kept saying to myself, what if I could have beaten these guys? I'm going to regret it if I don't try, if I don't see it through to the end. So I came back and I ended up beating those guys in 1995 and 96. And because I came up with a game plan, exhaust training. That's when you train till you're exhausted. That's when the training begins, and it gives you impeccable conditioning. And that's what I did. I wore these guys down, and I started scoring on them late in the match. But I would also have to say the most dominating wrestler I ever wrestled is a guy I wrestled in the Olympic finals, Abbas Jadidi from Iran. He was dominating that tournament. I mean, his closest match was 10-1, and it was against the Russian in the semifinals. I mean, he's having an incredible tournament, and I was very lucky to beat him, to be honest with you.
You know, it's funny how you explained exhaust training to me, Kurt, like I've never done it before or something. Is that what you're trying to say? I mean, look at me.
Hey, you train till you're ready to pass out, and that's when it starts. It's fucking hard, man. I learned this from the University of Iowa head wrestling coach, Dan Gable. This is why his athletes, his wrestlers were so well-conditioned. Yeah. That's why they wore their opponents out, and I started doing that, and it worked for me.
Josh Henney, there it is. You need to get your son exhaust training. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Make him hate the sport.
Yeah. Get him to hate the sport. I love it.
He will.
Oh, man. David Graham is up next. Kurt and Paul. Kurt, I really love the 6-man Hell in a Cell match at Armageddon 2000. Did you feel there was a lot of pressure on you with the dynamics of having 5 other opponents, or was there less pressure on you in the ring with so many greats? So, guys, here it is. It was Kurt. It was The Rock, Rikishi, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, Undertaker for the WWF Championship. This is a who's who of, Mount Rushmore capable guys here. Talk about this one.
Well, was there a lot of pressure on me? Yes, because the names that were in that match. But was there pressure on me for the match? No, because I had 5 other guys to work with, and it wouldn't just be my fault if something happened. So the pressure was off of me. The thing was, it's so hard to do these matches because you have to know when your cue is, when it's your time to do a spot in the ring. Because usually when you have a 6-man Hell in a Cell match or any 6-man match, there's always 2 guys that are going to have action during the match. The other 4 are going to either be down selling or they're going to be chopping wood on each other. And then that spot, when that spot finishes, then 2 other wrestlers come in and do a spot. So you have to know when your timing is. You have to have incredible timing. And you also have to have a great memory. There's a lot of improvisation in that, but also there's a lot of planning. So you have to make sure that everybody is on the right page. And it's a really hard match to do, to be honest with you.
All right. Well, listen, man, we have another great question from David Mitchell Jr. Where would you rank yourself among American Greco-style wrestlers? I idolized Kenny Monday as a kid.
Okay. Well, we did freestyle, not Greco-Roman, but Greco-Roman is an Olympic sport, and so is freestyle wrestling. I was a freestyle wrestler. Kenny Monday was a freestyle wrestler. I would say I'm in the top 10 or 12. Kenny Monday, definitely top 5. I don't like to toot my own horn, and I don't like to put myself.
Not at all. Not at all.
But I do have to say, I think I gained enough respect that I should be in the top 12 all time.
Okay. All right. There you go. All right.
And definitely one of the most popular freestyle wrestlers of all time.
There you go. Most popular. He's got the fan vote, if you will. Adam B is up next. When you were on the road with WWE, oh, here we go. What restaurants did you eat at the most often? So is there a restaurant?
Waffle House.
Waffle House.
Yeah, we ate there religiously. There was a Waffle House in every city. I mean, and it was inexpensive.
Are you a smothered and covered kind of guy?
I also went to Bob Evans. What'd you say?
Are you a smothered and covered kind of guy?
Smothered
when they did the cheese and all that stuff?
I didn't do that. I usually had I would have egg whites and hash browns without butter, just cooked on the burner without any butter or oil. And it was actually really good. I
any ketchup on the hash browns?
Yeah, a little bit. You have to have a little bit of ketchup. I have to have something sweet. This wasn't back when I was using sweeteners, okay? If I was, I would have put sweetener on it.
You're insane, dude. Sweetener on hash browns. I've heard it all with you. It's something else. Listen, if you see Kurt Angle at a signing event, you know it'll really pop him or get over. Bring him a few packets of Splenda.
Bring me a whole box of Splenda. I used a whole box in one day.
He'll need it because he's on the road and he's going back to his hotel room, so he'll use it on something in there, guaranteed.
I use it when I brush my teeth.
So that what the Simon Nickel is up next, guys. Listen, Waffle House is where it's at for Kurt Angle when he was traveling.
Perkins and Bob Evans too.
Bob Evans, I like a good Bob Evans. Yeah, not bad. I don't see as many of them as I used to around, but there you go. Simon is up next. Back when Undertaker used to do his entrance with the motorcycle. Now we know when he did the big dong entrance because you said you'd have an orgasm in the ring over that.
Yep.
But when he did his, but when he did his entrance with the motorcycle, did you ever have a close call with him almost hitting you at all?
Yeah, but it was on purpose. He was supposed to do that, and I think he actually tried to run me down. I'm not gonna lie to you, because he accelerated that son of a bitch and almost hit me. I dove into the ring, and he barely missed me. And I know he was laughing, so I know he was trying to. He was
trying to get you.
Oh yeah, he wanted to get me.
Brian Herms said Splenda needs to be a sponsor on the Kurt Angle show.
Good idea, Splenda. If you're listening,
yeah, hey, that's right.
I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah, he'll wear T-shirts, hats, cowboy hats, whatever else you want him to wear, he'll wear it. Alden Grover's up next. Did you hate the it's true catchphrase? Because I went to a signing that you did in Pittsville, Massachusetts, and my friend's dad asked you to say it, and you politely declined. Then you changed it by adding damn in there. So, Kurt, was there ever a time where you weren't a fan of the it's true catchphrase?
I've always been a fan of it's true. But you know what? I feel kind of ridiculous standing in front of somebody signing autographs and they say, hey, Kurt, say it's true. It's true. like I don't, it's really hard for me to, unless I say like a clever line to them, like, hey, you got some great pants on there. It's true. But just to say it's true, I feel like I have nothing to say with it, So then I ended up saying something to him, and I said it's damn true, and that's why he threw the damn in there.
Well, and you end every cameo with that phrase, don't you? It's true. It's damn true.
I'm sorry, Paul. My wife just came in there and interrupted me.
Well, tell her to come over and say hi. We want to see Giovanna.
Giovanna.
She's not going to come anywhere near this camera.
Paul wants you to say hi. Hi. She's not coming over.
She didn't sound like a happy camper. All right. Well, listen, I was saying you end every cameo with it's true, it's damn true, don't you?
Yeah, but I say something before that.
Okay.
I'm not going to do a video and just say it's true, it's damn true. So
what if somebody paid you to say it just
before I say it's true, it's damn true?
Yeah,
it doesn't work unless I say something before.
You're not a freaking parakeet. I mean, come on. What do these people want?
They want a lot out of me, maybe too much.
LFC MMA wants to know, does coming in second in NCAA 1991 bother you at all? I feel like they're trying to get under your skin. Or with everything else you achieved, are you at peace with it?
No, I'm not. No, that was the hardest loss I've ever had. You have to remember, I won the NCAAs my sophomore year. I blew my knee out my junior year. And I made it to the finals of the NCAAs, even though I had to have knee surgery. I had a big knee brace on me. And this amazing wrestler named John Llewellyn from Illinois, he beat me in the finals. And that is the hardest loss I've ever had to deal with, because I wanted to stay undefeated throughout college, my last 3 years. And that put a little speed bump in my record. I lost that match, and that broke my undefeated streak in half. So it was really hard to deal with, because I beat this guy probably 6 or 7 times. He did beat me twice, including this match, but it was a tough one to handle because I was injured. Now, if he would have beat me when I was healthy, I would have accepted it. But having a knee injury and not being able to go 100%, it really bothers the shit out of me, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's something that it's really difficult to shake off. And the only reason why I'm going to shake it off is because John Llewellyn was an amazing wrestler. And he actually died not too long ago. He had some kind of disease, and unfortunately, it took his life. But he was a really good wrestler. He was one of the top 3 guys on the Olympic team too. So he competed with me during the Olympic trials and stuff like that. That's where I beat him eventually after he beat me.
All right. Well, Kurt, listen, I'm going to go a few more questions, then we'll go into wrap up, because I know you got to catch a flight today. This is from the Burt. I know, we're not going to let you miss it. He said, if any of your kids show interest in wrestling when they're older, would you be supportive?
Listen, I'm not going to push them to wrestle, but if they truly want to wrestle, I will support them. But my body, the way it is in my mid-50s, I don't want them to feel like this when they get older. And it's really hard for me to accept that. But I think I would be supportive, but I would be like, listen, take care of yourself, limit your bumps, try to work smarter. So and definitely do yoga and stretching and keep your body in utterly good shape while you're doing it. Because if you look at the guys that are still wrestling today in their 50s, like Chris Jericho, he does what's it called? What did I just say?
Yoga. Yeah.
Yoga.
Yeah.
He stretches all the time. He's always taking care of his body. Same with Rey Mysterio. And they even get stem cell shots in their body to rejuvenate themselves. They're taking care of their bodies. I didn't take care of my body. But if I decide to let my kids do it, I'd make sure they did it a much healthier way.
All right. Let's keep going real quick, and we'll get one or two more questions in. Let's see here. Next up, AJ, since you're a bottomless food pit, can any other wrestlers back then keep up with you food eating wise?
You know what? I can eat forever. I could go on and eat and never stop. I never get full. And I think I told you this before, Paul. But I will tell you this. Big Show could eat like a monster. Okay, this guy was 530 pounds, and I saw him eat 3 buckets of KFC chicken, extra crispy. Okay, he was eating them, and you know what he was doing? He was taking the chicken legs, putting them in his mouth, and sucking the skin and the crust and the meat right off.
Right off of it.
A bare bone, he throw it into the bowl. It was incredible. I saw him eat 3 buckets of KFC chicken once. The guy could eat like a mammoth. Now, I know he's in a lot better shape now. He's lost a lot of weight. He's like 350, and he looks really good. He's in incredible shape. He's taking care of his body now, so he's dieting a lot better. But back then, Big Show could eat like a mammoth.
Oh, man, I can't imagine eating with the Big Show. All right, here we go. Instagrammer wrestling historian. I enjoyed the Kurt Goes to Hollywood episode. What did you think of Chasing Molly and any stories from filming the movie? Thanks in advance.
Oh, I had a lot of fun. I was a drug warlord in that movie. It was really cool. And Shelley Pack, she wrote the movie and she also starred in it. I loved it. I loved playing that role. We had a lot of fun in that movie. The guy that does the progressive commercial?
Yeah.
He was in it with me.
Oh, okay, cool.
He was great. He did a great job. But this movie was a lot of fun. And it did pretty well. I mean, they released it on Paramount Plus, and I believe Netflix is picking it up. It was a great movie. It was a great independent movie to be a part of.
Any more word on Peacock releasing your documentary? Have you heard anything?
All
lately?
I know is it's going to be in the summer.
Okay.
That's all I know. I don't know anything else. That's what Alex Perry, the producer and director of it, told me. And hopefully it'll be on by June.
All right. Well, listen, Kurt, I have the final question from Adam Arpin. Sergeant Slaughter became a Saudi sympathizer. Jim Duggan joined Team Canada, showing our American heroes could betray us. If creative told our Olympic hero he had to turn on America, would he do it?
I did it already. When I teamed up with Davari.
Good.
He was managing me. I was anti-American. You know what? Maybe the WWE didn't explain that very well, but that's what that storyline was about. I was supposed to be anti-American, but you know what? It didn't matter. At that point in my career, the fans were still cheering me. This is why I'm telling you about me being heel now. I don't know if I could do it because I think the fans, you gain so much respect from the fans when you're a great performer, and they don't want to see you as a heel. They want you as a babyface, and that's what happened to me when I teamed up with Davari. Adam
said, if they gave you a choice of which country that you could be, I'm with this country. Who would you pick?
Guam.
Guam. He's going Guam, Adam. There you go. Dude, this has been a lot of fun, guys. If we didn't get to your question, we are going to be back again with another Ask Kurt Anything. Listen, next week we're going to be talking The Rock, your rivalry with him, his success, your matches. That's going to be a fun show next week, dude.
It will be. I have a lot of history at The Rock. Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Doing a movie with him, Pain and Gain.
Yeah. There you go. Well, listen, you can check out all Kurt's past top Impact moments at impactwrestling.com/packages and sign up with code Kurt. Make sure you do that. Guys, here from the Ad-Free Show Group, I want to thank you all so much for being with us today. And if you're not a member on Ad-Free Shows, you can do it now. Try a free trial for 1 week starting at $9. The trial is free for the first week. And then after that, $9 just to become a member. So much bonus content over there. I mentioned Jim Johnston. Yes, there's a whole special with him that you can watch and listen as he created all kinds of theme songs, including Kurt Angle's theme.
I need
as
to
well.
hear that episode, definitely.
Yeah, it's great. Guys in the chat, we'll see you. Thank you so much for joining us. They're all checking out. But our live experience is just like this one. They got to be a part of it. That's where you can find it over there at adfreeshows.com. The other thing I want to mention is you can advertise with us right here on the Kurt Angle Show. So we target that 25 to 54-year-old men, that demographic, and when Kurt turns 55, we'll target to the 55-year-old audience too. But there's no better place to advertise than right here with us on the Kurt Angle Show. You've heard us do ads for a lot of other companies, and there's a reason, because it works, and people love to sponsor and hear what's going on here at the Kurt Angle Show. So go to advertisewithangle.com right now and find out more details about advertising with the show. And Kurt and I will have fun making sure we talk about your product. And hey, Splenda, if you're listening, yes, you can advertise.
We want you as a sponsor.
You can find us on social media at The Angle Pod, and specifically on YouTube, The Angle Pod. Subscribe, turn on those notifications, throw us a like, man. We would appreciate it. Kurt, I'm throwing it over to you to talk about Physically Fit, my friend.
Finally, we get to the good stuff. Physically Fit, chicken snacks and Snack Smart Crispy Protein Bites. One's organic chicken protein, the other one's organic plant protein. There are 11 different flavors. They're all delicious. You're going to absolutely love them. Go to physicallyfit.com to order yours. If you use the code AnglePod, you get 20% off your first order. Or you can go on the website and sign up and be a lifetime member, and you'll get 20% off the rest of your life. But these things are so good. I use them every day in my diet, and they absolutely work. I've been able to keep my weight down to 215, and I look really good right now, and it's because of these.
Kurt, also tell them about KurtAngleBrand.com.
KurtAngleBrand.com. We got milk cartons, cowboy hats, photographs, autographed photographs. We also have birthday cards, cameo video messages, T-shirts. Order whatever you want. I'll send it to you. I'll send it right back to you. Just order on the website, and I'll send it right back to you.
Hey, you know what? Just you doing that chicken snacks ad, Josh Henney just ordered some. So that's how this whole live experience thing worked, man. So there you go. Listen, make sure you check us out at boxofgimmicks.com, including the Ratings Machine t-shirt, all the Steel City gear, all the Kurt Angle Show gear. Get yourself some t-shirts. We got some tank tops over there now, too. It's getting warm outside. Sun's out, guns out. Kurt Angle Show style. Kurt, have a safe trip to Toronto. Appreciate you doing this with me this week.
Thanks, Paul. I had a lot of fun today.
All right, buddy. We'll be back next week talking all things rock. On behalf of your Olympic gold hero, Kurt Angle, this is Paul Bromwell, and we'll see you right back here next week on The Kurt Angle Show.